What's happening, guys? Sam Adams here, and if you're new to the channel, welcome on in. And one thing you should know is that I am a huge fan of Battlefield. Now, I wouldn't consider myself to be a Battlefield aficionado, but I fell in love with the franchise with Bad Company 2. Then I went on, or I should say went back really, and played tons of Battlefield 1943 on the Xbox 360. Then I went forward, played some Battlefield 3. Battlefield 4, of course, was the game that it was. Hardline was phenomenal. And then 5 and 1, well, those were kind of the redheaded stepchildren of the family. But that's neither here nor there. Battlefield 2042 is quickly approaching, but unfortunately it's not approaching quite quickly enough because it looks like it has officially been delayed as of a number of moments ago. The official Battlefield Twitter account writes, "We have made the decision to shift the launch of Battlefield 2042. The game will now be released worldwide on November 19th, 2021. Building the next generation of Battlefield during a global pandemic has created unforeseen challenges for our development teams. Given the scale and scope of the game, we had hoped our teams would be back in our studios together as we move towards launch. With the ongoing conditions not allowing that to happen safely, and with all the hard work our teams are doing from home, we feel it is important to take the extra time to deliver on the vision of Battlefield 2042 for our players. Your enthusiasm for the game has been very inspiring. We believe in the game we're making, and we thank you for your patience as we put some finishing touches into the experience. Updates on the open beta will be coming later this month. Signed, Oscar Gabrielson and the Battlefield 2042 development team." Now, for those that don't know, there was some alpha footage that released a couple of weeks back. I'm not going to show it here because, of course, that would be breaking an NDA, and I have no desire to do that. But the game didn't look great. Did not look like it was running that well, and I certainly had my worries. And so to hear that the game has been delayed was actually welcome news for me because I have a lot riding on Battlefield 2042. Whenever you look at the landscape of games that are coming out, for me personally, the big trifecta is Far Cry 6, Halo Infinite, and Battlefield 2042. Those are my most anticipated games of the fall season when it comes to these big AAA shooters. But I do want to say that I think this game has been afforded a very unique opportunity that not many games are often able to find themselves in, or it's a unique situation for Battlefield 2042. 2021 has the ultimate trifecta of games, where you have an arena shooter in Halo Infinite, a modern shooter in Battlefield 2042, and then you have a classic arcade shooter in Call of Duty Vanguard. These three games are competing with one another, but at the end of the day, while there is crossover in their audience, each of these games provides a very unique experience. And so, with this year's Call of Duty not nearly being as well received as it has been in years past, Battlefield's main competition is already falling behind. And Battlefield 2042, while that alpha footage that was leaked was not well received, it still looks very fun. The reveal itself looks fun, the mechanics of the game look fun, and I love modern combat. I think that I am amongst the majority that wishes that we could go back to the modern combat style of games that we saw in the mid-2000s, and that's exactly what we're getting with 2042. So, number one, you have this ultimate trifecta where each game is unique, but on top of that, Battlefield 2042 is also shaping up to look very, very good. And so if this additional month or so is able to afford this game an extra level of polish to really make it feel like a game that is going to succeed in the long run, could be a very big game changer for the team behind Battlefield 2042. Now, that's the positive take on this. The more negative take, the take that includes a lot more on the line for Battlefield, is that this is a game that has no campaign. This is a multiplayer-owned first-person shooter, or I should say multiplayer-only first-person shooter. That, in and of itself, adds an additional level of difficulty for the team because they have to not only meet fans' expectations, but exceed what they expect when it comes to a multiplayer shooter because there is no story to fall back on. And I think that is something that while the majority of players may not finish a Battlefield campaign, as has been proven by data, you still need to be able to go above and beyond and give players a bang for their buck. Now, of course, they've changed their monetization model where you don't have map packs, you don't have season passes anymore. So, of course, there is a long content roadmap that is coming in the months and years after the release. But you still have to prove yourself. You still have to get people in the door. And on top of that, while the last generation version is going to be $60, you have the next generation version that is going to be $70. That's a pretty big jump. And so with that all being taken into consideration, Battlefield 2042 still has a significant amount to prove with their release. Now, once again, I want to make it very clear. I fully support games being delayed. That just makes sense when it's necessary because, as the saying goes, it's much better to have a great game later than to have a bad game in the predicted time frame. It's always good to delay when it's better for the team, when it's better for the game, and when it's necessary. But with Battlefield 2042, it certainly is a big blow to this release season coming up, even though it is still included in the release season. Not to continue rambling, but November 19th, that's when I would consider a classic Call of Duty release to be. That's not something that is going to be out of the realm of competition. I would consider Halo Infinite to be a bit too late, in my personal opinion, and then I would consider previous Call of Duties that came out towards the end of October to be a little bit too early. So I feel like Battlefield 2042, it's actually hitting it just right, but that's just my 2 cents. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. Of course, I always love hearing what you guys think. Links for everything will be down below, and I'll talk to you on the next one.